now's their chance to really prove it on this big stage. Lijiang Tower first map, Twisted Minds versus Sign Esports. A Pharah ban and a Kiriko ban, so you best believe Chronic's rocking that Freya.
And Sign are not a team that come out with just the same set comps. They've talked about how their flexibility is a big boon for them. Chronic can played all 3 hit scans on over different maps. Lu Camino can play BAP to Kiriko. They can swap to anything that the bans are going to throw at them. But NA is not known for their Symmetra, so that's not something they faced a lot of. I know Liquid are trying to run it, but we'll see how they'll face Twisted Minds out that Symmetra is open.
Ooh, KSA hovering the Mauga too. Pretty decent on this stage, actually, on this point. We'll see if he ends up sticking. Not quite, yeah. I didn't think we'd see too much Mauga, although I wouldn't be too surprised if an EMEA team did run out with it at some point, but it's going to be Ram on either side, and Quartz, actually, going over to the Freya, which is a little surprising, honestly. Quartz has more favored the Sojourn, at least on the latter half of the stage. So we'll see how the very best of North Americans Freyas can match up to Quartz, who has just been a superstar, not only for Twisted Minds, but for the region as a whole.
I could see that being an ego mirror as well, just trying to beat Chronic at his own game, but that's the narrative I made up in my head. And Rocket goes to the Venture to maybe try to knock this Death Ball away and out of the TP, and is pretty successful at getting the supports away.
Yeah, they do all manage to teleport away off the point, though, and that gives Sign Esports enough time to actually get the cap. Rocket's going to burrow yet again, try and force out a teleport, or just force a little bit of damage. Saving that drill dash is going to be important, but the Venture's very vulnerable. Very high cooldowns on the Venture, although it can be quite slippery. And UB in the front line have already pointed out over on the desk. The Symmetra play from this guy is just superb.
Yeah, you just can't let UB generate all this. Sign had good tempo at the beginning to just destabilize Twisted Minds when they knocked him out of the portal, and Sign Esports got the cap, but as soon as the re-engage happened from Twisted Minds, they kind of pocket UB. That is the strat. It's not going to always be about these teleports, and Sign Esports have to not only mark where those teleports are going to be, but where Quartz is, who is building up towards that ult. You also have window up first for Simple. You're going to defend with that, and that's going to buy a lot of time.
Simple's got a window too. They can just kind of bait Sign in here, pop a window down, and maybe instantly get a kill or just force a rotation. Simple, though, ends up popping the Lamb. Sound barrier from Funny Astro does hit 5 as Rocket bites the dust already. As Sign Esports tried to match the window, but Quartz, oh boy, is he online already. Chronic shuts him down, but shouldn't matter. There's the kill from UB to finish off the rest. Team kill and a nice little teleport as well from UB. Getting them back to full fighting strength.
Quartz is just a generational talent when it comes to hit scan in general. I mean, he just had the crowd erupted back at the World Cup with just a Sojourn, and now he's going to be showing up to Chronic at his own game. I like that UB places the teleport too to get the chase down. Because obviously you want to kill Sign Esports, but you're farming up ultimates. Being able to cycle those is how you're going to get up to 100%. Annihilation, UB can protect the point with the barrier coming up, and they're going to bring the fight to Sign.
Lu Camino, wrong place, wrong time, but doesn't seem to matter. A nice kill there from Chronic to start us off as that wall separates the team. Chronic shouldn't need to use this ult here either, so saving this one for the next fight's good, and getting the wall out of the way. One of the more frustrating ultimates for the Venture to deal with. Good flip from Sign.
Just good timing for UB too to pop the teleport, get behind Sign Esports as they were already trying to leave, but Twisted Minds are very economical too to just not pop more than they already are. So Sign Esports really have to rely on Rocket to initiate this and Painkiller to be really synced up, and they don't have Lep having a barrier, so missing out on some key support ultimates to get the sustain going for Sign.
Bowler for Quartz. Oh, and here comes the bowler as well from Chronic. Annihilation. Rocket repositioning into the mid. Using that perk to its full effect, getting those cooldowns back way quicker, 300% quicker when popping that tectonic shock as Funny Astro just turned to dust. Going to be an archaeological dig later in time, I'd imagine, as Sign Esports. And they do end up losing Rocket here, but still control the point. Nice little jump over there from Lu Camino, a sharpshooter across the map, but the fight's not done. KSA still wants to force Painkiller off of this point as Twisted Minds. They've got support ultimates, but unfortunately they've not got the bodies to stick on the point. The flip came through, so denied Sign Esports a little bit of percent, but A very fast fight win there as Twisted Mind to regroup for a final fight.
Yeah, 2 opportunities for Astro to pop the barrier there to save the fight, even just extend it, even if it's not 100% winnable, but just Twisted Minds were so split from each other. Some are taking the teleport, Simple's on the high ground away from the fight, so Astro wants to get the most value that he can. This is final fight, and Sign Esports are facing that dreaded barrier from Astro. They'll try, and also the window from Simple.
Wow, that is a very early investment there from Astro. I don't know about that. Sign Esports are able to back up straight away. Oh, but Quartz on an off angle. Sees Chronic as well through the wall, just needs to win the Sky Duel, misses a couple of shots. The bonus also, it does end up connecting there, destroys the lamp. And the touch had to come through. Sign Esports are looking to force the cap as UB takes a take-aim shot, but it's messy. It's a messy fight as KSA is going to be able to rejoin the rest of the team, but Simple could not get back to the point in time. So they've only got Funny Astro heals as they get the reflip.
Yeah, proactive B from Astro, but they needed to chase down those kills, and letting Sign Esports live means a retake that is coming in off of the Lucamito window, but nice counter on the barrier from the Sim.
Oh, but UB goes down. And now you can't just dance around the shield and be a menace. The Sign Esports are going to wipe Twisted Minds at the very final hurdle. That early investment from Funny Astro there, they popped the window down on the point, and it looked like Sign Esports had already disengaged, and Astro thought, you know, maybe we can kind of catch them here with the sound barrier. And then by the time he put it down and then they chased them, that overhealth was, well, cut to 0 pretty much.
So much chaos in the Twisted Minds camp with this Lucio composition. They're trying to be aggressive at all times, but sometimes you really do have to slow it down and kind of group up for barrier. And I think Astro just had a hard time rallying the troops. And then when they finally did drop the beat in that last fight, when they had about 80%, they really need to chase down those kills. And I think they just felt like they could have defended and stopped Sign from recontesting. But unfortunately for them, Sign got back in and they had their ults and they won the round. Now we go to Control Center. This is, again, another Ram playground.
The Quartz. Oh! Yeah, Quartz is on gas, so it's going to be a very, very tough game now in these close quarters. You know, Chronic's going to want to perma-play this Freya as well. Oh, he's just so clean. And like you said, Lemon, I got to agree, a truly generational talent on the hit scan. Even a lot of the Korean players, too, saying how much of a beast this guy is.
And Rocket's a top tracer in the league, in my opinion, just a true prodigy. So I think if he can stick on that, try to make UB uncomfortable, that'll be important. But Quartz, his job is going to be to mark this tracer at all times. I don't think Rocket's going to have as much freedom. We'll have to stick to his tank and help Painkiller win this tank war because he's losing it to KSA.
Yeah, goodbye, team. All right. Quartz is dead, but yeah, it doesn't matter. Yeah, KSA's going to clean up. Easy as that. And UB still on his best hero. I mean, this Symmetra, you know, is a North American team. When you go into a tournament where Sim is good, you're in for a rough time, and you can see exactly why. Twisted Minds with a good early lead, and Simple has also already got the window.
Yeah. That's just how you defend from here, and that's like a 15% advantage he had over Lucamino, so I'd be popping this now, but they're in server, which doesn't have the best line of sight. You're trying to let Sign Esports get on the point and be in open area so this window gets more value.
There's the window, but Quartz with a one-tap on to Lep. Again, gets traded. Simple in a little bit of trouble. Dashes away, though. Annihilation is going to tickle Rocket to death. And Painkiller is going to suffer the same fate. Twisted Minds standing tall right now. Back-to-back fight wins. They got sound barrier, and look at Lep's percent as well. I mean, 60 on the beat. So far away.
Yeah, getting picked by Quartz will do that to you. And so Astro is going to have a huge advantage for Twisted Minds being able to defend. And I like that Twisted Minds are very good at drawing Sign Esports into open area where all this poke could also just decide the fight before it begins. This is the last fight for Twisted Minds to try and force that round 3.
I think, honestly, if you're Twisted Minds here, you probably just beat into them around 85 to 90%. There's the High Noon first. They've even got Wall as well. Teleport behind us too. Oh, no, wait. I take it back. We're in the front lines now. Or in server.
So I need to fight in server. They keep going to point, but now you just have to play on point because it's 99.
Lep needs his as well. It's 1% away. Wall is going to come through. Sound barrier connects with all 5 for Sign Esports. The Wall is going to be good here for a defensive measure for Twisted Minds, but KSA just gets bullied in the front line. They let Lep get that beat. Maybe they thought Lep was a little bit closer than realistically he was.
and Rocket swapped to the Venture to try and get past those defenses, but Sign need to fight in server a lot more, because if you have the Symmetra, they're going to TP on both sides of you, so Sign Esports are going to get sandwiched, and they do not want to be part of that pain, but they'll be able to defend for now, and having a window for Lucamino will be big. It's countered by by Simple, I should say.
Please run. It's Quartz behind the window. Don't peek, Leb. Almost got one tapped. It's 1 HP. They're trying to punish this high ground here, but another teleport up. Oh, the bowler shot is so good, though. But they're going to TP away. Oh, not quite. Yubi and Simple end up going down. Chronic, smart play, using that updraft to get up into the high ground and can see people through walls, too, if they're critical HP. Nice stuff from Chronic. You can see why. It's one of the best Freyas we have in the league.
Sign Esports got to get ahead of these rotations. Yubi's being really funny with these teleports, and he's done so with the high newts from Quartz before, and that's going to be the big ultimate coming up. And Sign Esports know how to hide away from that, but they may want to just try and set up and start the fight before Yubi teleports. And it's not going to be a deep teleport this time, just to try and get Twisted Minds established. So High Noon's not going to be finding any good angles.
Oh, nice little Ravenous Vortex there, but Quartz is going to get protected by that lamp as he pops the High Noon. Sound Barrier comes in as well, no fear now. Looking into the eyes of Painkiller. Painkiller have to back off, and oh, did he just triple headshot Chronic there, cross map? That was dirty. Get that in the highlight package right now. Simple does end up going down though, as Painkiller tried to force the issue in the backline, but Yubi is fully torqued, fully charged up on that beam. Sign Esports get 86%, and I think that's all they're going to garner. Rocket does end up using that burrow and pushes towards the point, triggers the STC overtime, but the Ravenous Vortex is going to bring him back down to earth. Doomfist here from Painkiller to get another touch, and a Sound Barrier is going to help them stay, but Lep is just too far up, and they've got another window for Quartz to shoot through. A nice little double tap there onto Chronic, but a little bit too far away to actually deal the final blow. But Painkiller falls. And that'll be Twisted Minds with an early lead.
We go to Gardens next, and decent High Noon to catch Rocket too when he had ram shields in his face and didn't think like he had a good angle. Quartz made it work, not even just with the High Noon, but just headshotting everyone. I wanted Sign Esports to be proactive, but also know what fights to take, which is not to go into a High Noon unless you know for sure everyone is going to focus that Cassidy down. So still think people are underestimating Sign. They've almost made the 0 to 100 comeback. They took round 1, so Sign Esports have one more chance of trying to win the map, but Quartz has to be target number 1.
That triple headshot was dirty.
Yeah.
Peggy 18 type stream. All right, let's see if Sign Esports can take this map now. Quick rotation from Painkiller, but look at that damage already. The teleports are just so quick, Lemon, at putting Yubi in a position where he can punish Painkiller.
You can go around through White Room if you have time. Lep is just trying to speed the team over. They've already used lamps, so they're going to just try and still commit onto Yubi now that the charge has dissipated and the pressure is on.
Oh, no, what a boot! Nice stuff from Astro there. That burrow takes a little bit of time to actually put you underground. Astro with a quick boop, and, well, the turrets do the rest. That'll be a cap for Twisted Minds.
I'd like to see Sign maybe rely more on kind of setting up Chronic on a good angle to just poke away and get Twisted Minds low and then dive in. But they're kind of, as soon as they see Yubi place a TP, they know he has no route of escape, and Sign just only run after Yubi. And this bridge can be really treacherous to cross. It's just so awkward. You don't know what's around the corner. The dojo is such good protection for the defending team. Sign Esports could just counter-rotate, set up Chronic in White Room, but they're going to keep trying to force the dojo fight.
They're so low. Everybody's so low on the side of Twisted Minds. Yeah, that window's just doing a lot of work for Lucamino. A very fast flip, actually, and a good team kill for Sign Esports.
Yeah, being able to force Twisted Minds out of dojo was huge, and then the lamp set up as soon as Twisted Minds were out in the open. So Sign Esports do manage to make that fight work, but now they have to go up against an attacking Windows. So here's the White Room rotation, as Simple can hope to zone out Sign Esports with just either the barrier or the window.
Oh, the wall stops the bolus. They still managed to kill Yubi, and here's the emergency window deployed by Simple, but I think the fight's already lost, despite the heroics there of Yubi blocking off that ult. KSA is kind of ripping and tearing on the point with the annihilation, but yeah, too little too late as Sign win that fight.
Really good ult tracking too from Sign Esports to know what the plan was from Twisted Minds, and again, not let the Symmetra set up. Killed it mid-barrier, the window didn't get as much value, hide on the other side of the point. Sign are reading into the sim comp really well.
Another cheeky teleport. Tectonic shock for Rocket. KSA wants none of that now on the Diva. It's going to be hard for the Diva to stay alive in this small corridor though, and it looks like they're just going to teleport away. Look at that. Every single member of Twisted Minds practically on the same frame, hitting that interact key and getting out of danger.
Both barriers up 2, Annihilation from Painkiller, but here's the TP from the other side.
That must have been a right click from Yubi cross map. Maybe coupled with a shot from Quartz, who's in danger now. Although easy heals coming in and a 2-tap, both ZPS slaughtered by Quartz. A third as well as Painkiller falls. For Sign Esports, they're in good stead. Lemon, 78%. That's one fight. They got beat, they got window, and Annihilation.
This should catch up Twisted Minds in the score, and you gotta have your head on a swivel at all times when a Symmetra is attacking towards you. Now you can defend. You gotta worry about a Sim TP coming up from behind you or just matching your rotations. It's beat for beat and window for window. Rocket's going in deep though.
Yeah. Are they going to use the sound barrier to sustain through that window and they're just going to run through it? Quartz, though, is good, kind of chilling on the bridge. There's a two-man squad kind of keeping him alive right now, although that Annihilation is going to be painful to deal with. No support ultimates can be used now by Twisted Minds, unfortunately. Pop them at the start of the fight. This ult disadvantage now, biting Twisted Minds. As Sign Esports, they've lost Chronic, but Painkiller is alive and well on the point. A kill on the Baby Diva, and now they can chase down the backline. A Ravenous Vortex halts Quartz. Now it is final fight for Sign Esports to take this first map.
And you got all the ults mostly out of Twisted Minds, but be careful, they could be TPing into White Room. Sign Esports are looking to maybe boop them with Lep on Lucio, and he's right in front of the TP, but maybe has to get out of dodge, didn't get the angle, and you have to be careful of UB protecting the point with the barrier and trying to force the recap. Yeah,
do not insta-die challenge for UB here, cannot get sniped. Wall on point, provide a massive shield, and you should be good. They TP behind, looking for the kill onto Lucamino. Tectonic shock, and yeah, Rocket can't do anything now, tries to find a different angle, but Twisted Minds tracking him through those walls. Self-destruct to find the remake. KSA hiding on that little corner there as the turrets fry Painkiller as he tries to move on to the points. UV does end up going down, a Chronic on a good angle. Bonus shot hits the bridge, and now Twisted Minds are scattered. Although Quartz does end up finding one, but this window on the sidelines here for Lucamino is providing suppressing fire for the front line of Signed, and Twisted Minds are going to go down as Signed pick up the first map. A little 2-1 on Lijiang Tower.
Now this is a team that can handle the pressure. First time on LAN, especially on an international stage. First time in the country, and they show up against Twisted Minds, a top team from EMEA, and the home crowd that's behind them. Sign Esports, despite the teleports being behind them, in front of them, all over. Not only did they keep up with those rotations, but they never gave up the point. Through the Diva Bomb that was thrown at them, through the Symmetra barrier on the other side, Sign Esports used just the dichotomy of the point of that central barrier, used it to their advantage of protecting themselves against damage, making sure their tank was supported and anchored, so they never gave up the objective. Because it's not always just about winning fights and killing, it can just be about zoning and getting the objective, which I think was the objective of Twisted Minds, which they never got. So then you fought through overtime, which Sign Esports eventually got ults and won in the end. So a very surprising showing out of Sign Esports.
Psycho there on the left. Prepping some big brain map picks and bans here. He's going to the second. Now it's their choice to choose where we go and obviously ban first as well. Mastro said, you know, hey, warm-up scrim, maybe takes in a little bit, not as seriously as maybe he should. Of course, he is 100% on board every single map. I mean, Astro's been around for such a long time as well. Remember his time on British Hurricane a long time ago in Contenders. He's on Gladiators as well in the Overwatch League. A veteran player at this point too. Now, where do you think we're going to go if you're Twisted Minds? They want to play these sim comps. They want to play this brawl.
They've picked King's Row, they've picked Circuit Royale. Sorboss is not in the pool, but Circuit is something they've often picked. They did it against VP and Alcatia in the past, and all solid for the Symmetra comp, but also Sim is an available ban, because that wasn't touched on Lijiang Tower, so you may want to protect that DPS rule like they did banning the Pharah. So you could just ban another DPS to protect the Sims. So Shine Esports in the driver's seat, very happy to go to any of those maps, of course, to play the Ramatra, because Shine even like to ban the Orisa to force the ramp. Painkiller is very comfortable on these Brawl maps, so this is exciting.
You get a little 2-for-1 as well if you ban a DPS. You ban the Freya, and you protect the Sim as well. A little 2-for. Don't mind that at all. I think, yeah, any kind of like, I wouldn't say like Blizzard World, but yeah, any kind of hybrid map normally very good for these kind of comps.
It's been cool to see Rocket flex to the Venture, just because Tracer's been his signature for so many years, but you're adding so much more value because now the dive can go literally under the defenses, cause CC, force Quartz to use his mobility cooldowns to get away, whether it's Cassidy or the Freya or whatnot. So Rocket's adding a lot of pressure and focus onto Quartz, and also allowing the focus to go on him so that Painkiller's not the only one taking all the pokes. So we'll get to decide what map we're going to next, but here are the top bans at the tournament so far. A lot of them towards the Kiriko, and of course Symmetra being the flavor of the day.
Yeah, I'd imagine Symmetra's going to be near the #1 spot by the end. Have to wait and see. You can hear the chants in the crowd already for Twisted Minds.
Yeah.
Go to Circuit Royale, chosen by TN.
We'll try and maybe force that Ram mirror. Quartz has played anything from the Freya to the Sojourn. Of course, Symmetra is their favorite composition. What I do like is the Juno Bap or Juno Illari backline from Twisted Minds. Depending on whether they're on defense, they'll have the Illari for more poke. Attack, they'll like the window with Simple. That can always change, but that's just what they ran in the grand final, and this is something a pretty comfort pick out of Twisted Minds.
Yeah, I mean, Simple's going to rock the Illari for sure, I'd imagine. It's going to be a tough map for Sign if this Freya is banned. We know how good Chronic is on that pick. Obviously, he can go over to Sojourn, go over to Cassidy. And Rocket's Venture is going to be fairly decent on this map. You can play a little Tracer as well, although it's fairly rare that we see it. And I agree. I actually really like the Venture. We saw it in the first map especially. The Ravenous Vortex connecting with someone like Quartz slows them down and then obviously stops any kind of movement. You get like dragged down to the floor and then instantly that Venture is, well, either straight on top of you with a drill dash or is already burrowed beneath you and then attempts to assassinate you.
Might be tough to play that on Circuit just because of that initial point A is so long range. Rocket really likes to play the Tracer and the Genji just to have more verticality, of course, with the Genji, played that on the attack. This was one of the maps that Sign Esports won against GK the last time they faced them. So it was a very solid showing off of the Orisa from Painkiller. We also like to show the D.Va in sort of these short to mid-range areas, especially in point A. Everyone likes to play so far back, so Painkiller can kind of soft dive there. We got the Freya ban, so probably going to be some Sojourn or Cassidy.
Yeah, and there's a Lucio ban as well, targeting Funny Astro.
Lep as well.
Yeah, I mean, at the end of the day, though, you're like, okay, well, simple. Just play Illari, and then Astro's been playing Juno a lot of the time as well if the Lucio is banned.
So yeah, the Illari Juno, Illari Bat, but also Luke Mino likes to play the Ana if Rocket goes to the Genji, just for the good old Genji blade, the Nano Blades. So, but that is going to make rotations a lot more difficult for the team that's not running the Symmetra without the speed. But of course, you got the speed ring from Juno, so that'll be your Band-Aid replacement for that.
Something I don't think we're going to see it here, but something we've seen ever so briefly every now and then has been Mercy on the attack. Don't think that's going to be...
If you're a true believer in your DPS.
Yeah, exactly. But I don't think that's going to realistically be played, maybe just for the first shot kind of thing, but it has been propping up every now and then. Can't count it out.
Sign Esports don't feel like, yes, Chronic is the best Freya in the world or in NA, we all think that, but they have touted about their flexibility. Chronic being able to play the Cassidy, the Sojourn, Painkiller, different things, and we'll see what Rocket wants to choose. So back to the Venture. So on defense, you the range isn't going to affect you as much. I could see that being different on the attack, but they found that they had success at pressuring the DPS from Twisted Minds when Rocket can literally go underground to force some CC there.
It's been quite funny, actually, thinking back to kind of stage 2 where we were at in terms of defensive comps. The Lifeweaver BAP was like the immortal comp, like you will not die. Nothing can kill you because you have the grip, you have the pedal to get away. Like, it was a little ridiculous.
Kind of surprised Lucamino didn't want to just run the BAP here. Of course, his Kiriko is also fantastic, but maybe he's thinking about TPing on an off angle with Chronic. Not that there's too many here on point A, but maybe even just to drop the Suzu. If the team teleports on top of you, you'll have some extra layers of defense.
Expected backline here with Simple on the Alari. UB on the Sim. Like I said, it's such a good ban. This Freya takes it away from Chronic. Also, then you protect the DPS on your side of things too. So you're feeling pretty confident here if you're Twisted Minds. Chronic are getting beamed from afar by the Alari, and then the right clicks coming in as well from the Sim. Yeah, had to reposition almost instantly there. Looks like Painkiller was trying his hardest to push people off this high ground, but very, very tough to do against the staying power of the Alari. Can just use the outburst to push him away.
Fight for statues is going to be pretty important as Rocket looks to just jump on top of this isolated support. That's huge.
Yeah, really nice stuff there from Rocket. The outburst did end up coming through from Simple, but pushed him into the wall. Rocket getting behind the Alari.
Yeah, Chronic's pretty conservative with his jumps. As soon as he's half health, he's abandoning Statue and letting Twisted Minds see if they're going to take up that space, and kind of waiting to see where this teleport from UB is going to end up, which not going as deep, not going behind Sign Esports, because they're spacing out quite appropriately so they don't get flanked.
They just both from Archers trading the annihilations on this corner. Waiting, hopefully, for UB to get up to full power on this Sim Beam, but looks like Sign Esports want to end this fight right now as they end up using the rush around the corner. Rocket goes super aggro though and dies to UB's fist. They do trade for KSA, so it is good for Sign Esports regardless, although Quartz rips Chronic's head off.
I think, yeah, just sacrificing yourself so everyone gets into the TP. Either way, good tempo push with the Kitsune rush, being able to build that. That's Painkiller just taking the right amount of damage so he can build up those support ultimates, and Lep dies. That's no orbital raid fight for Lep.
Yeah, this is bad. Ideally here for Twisted Minds, you just don't use ult and hopefully just win the neutral. You got 5 on board. Even just an overclock here, yeah, I don't hate this at all. Just end this fight, and Quartz is such a nuisance on this high ground as well. He's on the perfect off angle, and yeah, Lucamino didn't stand a chance. Captive Sun connects as well. In fact, they're going to throw even more in. That's 4 ults dumped in by Twisted Minds, but to be fair, Sign Esports also using their Ray, Annihilation, and Tectonic Shock. So a worthy trade for first. They had a few minutes of the time back there, almost 4.
There's still a big investment as point B can really be tricky to get up this highway. It'll be a defense high ground advantage, but Quartz could hit some pigs as he kind of looks to charge up with the shield in place, so gotta be careful. But Quartz, he's very conservative too, and he's not too aggressive. He knows how to jump into those off angles and unleash with his ultimate. He's trying to be wary of where Rocket dives.
Painkiller. Needs some painkillers after that. You see him walk into 4 turrets and just attempt to walk away was like 1 HP. KSA's also on a strange off angle here as Chronic uses this overclock. A nice proactive teleport though from UB puts KSA back into their front line. Double shot on finding Astro as he took to the skies as Chronic looks for more. A headshot round the corner isn't going to result in a kill, but UB goes exceptionally low. Alari Pylon healing him up, and this rush to finish this fight as Sign Esports just bowl over Twisted Minds and just crush them.
Yeah, Twisted Minds tried to take the power position, and all the wind out of the sails of Sign Esports of just basically trying to take the fight at the end of point B. Had Painkiller really low, but just never had the finishing power to get enough kills to keep Twisted Minds in the driver's seat. Now they have to fight for all that space back, and where the cart sits, it's pretty deep, and Sign Esports can be on this high ground and just poke and prod away and dictate when the fight starts based off of Rocket, but that's going to ruin things.
Yeah, a double headshot there. One from Quartz, one from Simple. Easy as that, and Simple gets another as well. Okay, just a clean neutral fight here from Twisted Minds. Simple, that's 3 kills for the Ilari already. Go on, give him 5. Not quite.
I don't want to dog on anyone because Quartz is just that good, but Lep has to be careful getting first picked in these fights. The orbital ray got dropped at the beginning of the map to now kind of really costed the team here, and Sign Esports should be able to touch, and Rocket will be there in time, but they don't have ults to swing this in their favor.
We saw this for a long time as the Venture normally as well, but had to burrow from a considerable distance away, and now catch-22 situation. You've got to walk out and touch, but then a Captive Sun is waiting for you. That's a good pick though. Quartz goes down, Chronix gets some revenge for the team. A Captive Sun does end up detonating on Painkiller, who would have loved his ultimate there. 99% that Annihilation, giving him the refresh on the Nemesis form. Might have been what they needed, but Twisted Minds are not going to let them get there as they cap second.
You just got to build additional pylons in your Twisted Minds. You had the sim turrets, you had the simple
it's
pylons.
It's actually the builder comp almost.
They will build it. And now Twisted Minds, they'll be able to teleport onto this high ground and maybe try to displace Sign Esports. If they can drop some to the low ground, this would be huge, but it's important for Lep to get this orbital ray off. They'll just have to be careful going through this choke.
We'll try and take this high ground. Rocket kind of pressuring with that burrow. Tectonic Shock available too. Spots the pylon, easy kill. Here comes the rush on the high ground again. Lukamina not afraid to use these really early as Rocket goes up into the high ground. A nice little boop there, but could rejoin the team in just a moment. This orbital ray keeping the frontliners alive for Twisted Minds, but not for long as Lep match ray for ray. Only 2 minutes left in the time bank now. UB's turret kills Chronic. They're still gonna try and get a couple of kills here. An outburst into the teleport, and both UB and Simple escape with their lives.
Yeah, it's an awkward angle to try and pop the orbital ray. I like the Kitsune rush just to force Twisted Minds off the high ground, but you haven't fully won this if you're Sign, and Rocket, again, after these DPS, UB looking to just protect the team with the barrier if needed, but they're on the offense.
It's on such a good angle as well. Pops Quartz up there too. The tag team duo, Quartz and UB, still proving to be a menace. Sign now have to deal with this Symmetra wall as well, as Rocket alone in the backline right now. Couldn't even attempt to receive heals. That wall is blocking off most of it as Quartz chases them down and approaches the final stretch.
The Ultras are behind Twisted Minds. How can you not be? They're heading towards the end with a time bank to spare, but this is the Sign Esports playground. Spawn advantage. You need to build up towards this Kitsune rush quickly, and you should be able to do so now that Lep is dead.
Yeah, Captive Sun as well is going to be the final nail in the coffin, I think. Maybe there's a Suzu there. No, absolutely not. Simple gets a double. And a 55-second time bank as well for Twisted Minds. Simple looks clean on this Alari right now on Circuit Royale. Hey, you banned Lucio from Astro? That's fine. Good at the flag.
Yeah, Rocket's been the X factor, but he's also the only one that could really stand up to Twisted Minds, and they've been able to control the high grounds well, using UB's teleport to get behind, allow UB to charge up, and there has to be someone shooting at UB at all times, or he's going to charge up off of Painkiller and absolutely melt his face off. So it's going to be important to keep that momentum from Lep and Lukamino with the Kitsune rush, and of course, all the Ultras are so excited. The crowd is going to give a lot of energy to Twisted Minds as well, and being able to finish this map with time is absolutely huge. You were a little bit worried when they kind of stalled out on point B and had to refight through there, but didn't waste too much time once all the pylons and the buildables were up. Like, Sign Esports could not get that space without being so distracted by all the shiny objects.
You're shooting 3 buildables.
Yeah.
3 Symmetra turrets, or 4 even, sorry, with the pylon as well. Yeah, frustrating stuff there, dealing with the sim. Ramco sideswap coming in as Sign Esports now chance to attack. But you know what you're running into now. You know Simple's on this. Funny Astro is on Juno. Chronic unlikely to get a headshot insta-kill here, but look at those turrets and the pylon. Both Simple and UB hiding off to the left-hand side. And then they can TP away. The perfect plan. The perfect heist. Oh, Rocket's dead. To a turret.
Trying to go get some work done. Rocket gets put to bed, but also that Widow headshot knocked the armor down from KSA, but Sign were not in a position to take that fight right away, trying to see where the heck is that sim, and they found out the hard way.
You have to get Simple off of this angle. But UB's going to make that incredibly difficult. Look, they're putting the Venture up here. They're eventually going to be able to push their way in, but they're just going to teleport. Look at this. And they're gone. Just Houdini just disappeared.
Really good at wasting Sign Esports' time, and now just trying to build up towards some
Chronic dies the
shooting
turret.
rush, or that's the win
UB's
comp.
turrets, kind of crazy. MVP so far, maybe?
Honestly, yeah. You get babysat by Simple, who's the GOAT too, and he's able to boop for you away and have constant heals on UB. That's all you gotta do is pocket UB and win.
Oh, Painkiller activates that Nemesis form as Rocket has got no CDs left. Gets a free kill though on Simple, pushes him away. Was an early pick from Sign Esports, but somehow KSA is still kicking, or punching, I guess, with the Reladra, as Quartz also takes down Chronic. A very split fight, but KSA eventually failed. Should be an easy push from Sign Esports, but kind of a scrappy one. KSA is going to come back, and they're going to be able to hold on this second corner.
I was worried about how deep Rocket went there, but that was so worth it when he got the trade on Simple. That meant KSA did not have enough heals. He was also completely alone, as you pointed out, and Sign Esports, I guess, can just depend on Rocket being either the fight winner or the liability. That's going to be the play.
Annihilation for Painkiller, same for KSA. And there's the rush on the corner. Complete ult dump here from both sides, I'd imagine. Yep, there's the wall, there's the Ray. Captive Sun as well. Connects with the backline. Actually hits Lep too. Simple tags Lep on the exit. Doesn't even need that detonation to get the kill. Lep was that low. They need some sort of kill here. Do Sign Esports, but they're not going to get granted it. Just the wall is just so powerful from Yubi.
It's huge for Twisted Minds to trade all those ultimates and to still keep the space on the corner. Sign Esports only have 90 seconds left and barely any ultimates to make this work, so Chronic would have to go X Games mode, and he would have to get control of Statue or something, because then as soon as you look threatening, Twisted Minds are just going to round the corner and basically break line of sight. So this is going to be an uphill battle for Sign Esports.
Yeah, really horrible fight. Oh, good first kill. Quartz down. Orbital Ray still in the back pocket. Funny Astro, and he does use it as soon as they peek their heads around that corner. But Chronic, oh man. Yeah, that's one way to shut down an Orbital Ray. Chronic, he gets 3 with the overclock. And that'll be point 2 completed. Yeah, he's not only good at that Freya, he's got a mean Sojourn in the back pocket as well.
Just with the speed ring, and we needed him to have a legendary ult or this was over, and Chronic delivered. Now they're setting up, trying to put the pressure on Twisted Minds, but trying to also be careful of that annihilation that could be popped out of KSA, and Simple with a Captive Sun, so Sign Esports also want to get some progress on this card.
Oh, there's the annihilation. All right, 1 kill for Quartz. Yeah, it's going to be a tough fight. It's not really a chance for you to win this. You haven't got any support ultimates. Simple taking down Lucamino, and a nice stagger as well onto Painkiller. Good stuff. All right. Not a look of disappointment on Painkiller's face there. Cool, calm, and collected in the play cams.
Casey's going to be on the low ground, so he is accessible. Sign Esports are probably going to focus on him, but what's good about Twisted Minds is if all the damage goes into KSA, they could pocket him and let Quartz get these headshots. He's been a beast so far. Captive Sun, though, in the back line.
Connected with 1. Oh, a double tap as well from Lucamino onto Simple. Taken down by Yubi. 1 support versus 2 now, as Quartz has got the perfect firing line for this ult, but is not going to need to use it, I can't imagine. Painkiller, though, pretty low, and they do find the kill onto KSA. Twisted Minds, quick reset once more, using that teleport. They're just so snappy with it as well, Lemon.
It's going to be a good little lane for the Orbital Ray, too, from Lep, and Painkiller can go in off of the Annihilation, so they're just going to maximize progress here, put 3 on cart, and activate Orbital Ray, but Lucamino has to be careful. He's 1 HP. You can't afford to lose anyone.
Value pulsar torpedoes there, hitting multiple targets as Quartz goes down. Captive Sun connects in the front line, but once again, the fight, I think, is already over as Sign Esports just run over Twisted Minds despite Overclock, Wall, and Captive Sun being used there. That'll be Sign Esports capping second point, but they still got a mountain to climb. This third, so difficult to finish.
Getting all those ultimates out of Twisted Minds is huge for Sign Esports. Now it's about riding the momentum here, and Rocket's going to look for that pick along with Chronic. They've been able to match blow for blow, go toe for toe against Twisted Minds. Real chance for them. I don't know if they'll be able to finish, which has much time with Twisted Minds. All depends on how this next fight goes, and if you can put Twisted Minds' backs against the wall.
Oh, Rocket was almost kind of waiting for them there as Astro uses that Orbital Ray. He ends up going down to Lucamino. They're trading so well into these rays, I must say. Sign now just trying to escape this teleport though. UB kind of isolated at the moment, just requires one little love tap and Chronic deals it to him. Now holding on to this fight too. And without your Sim to get you out of there, KSA might be in a little bit of trouble. It's not going to be able to stay too long, but okay. Ravenous Vortex tags Lucamino on the exit.
Chronic was massive that fight. I mean, he's getting so many picks, including onto those supports. How he's able to get line of sight. He's playing forward, and this is what's helping Sign win.
KSA so low, yeah, forced to pop that Annihilation, just hold up those arms as Chronic just like, there's not even a single right click there that went to anybody else but the Ram. Everybody else scattered. Good kind of taunt ability there from KSA as Simple goes extremely low, uses that shift to get away. Same with Quartz, gets out of there, but oh, that's a Captive Son and a half. Lucamino! 3 kills of the Captive Son. Just lays waste to Twisted Minds. That's 4 kills in the fight for the Alari. A team kill for Sign Esports as they move on to this final golden checkpoint.
Should be a touch for Twisted Minds, and that'll mean Sign Esports will have less of a time bank if they finish at all. Here's Emergency Ball just to get the touch. Big Captive Son has to come out of Simple, or good TPs on the flank, but you won't get behind Sign.
Well, there's the Annihilation. Yeah, KSA is going to be able to stay alive for quite a long time with the Wrecking Ball in the front line. As the detonation onto Chronic, the Captive Son finds one for Simple, puts him in a good spot as well. Quartz, a double hit onto Rocket, but the left clicks just too strong. Spawn advantage, however, for Twisted Minds is going to be good as KSA full HP on the Wrecking Ball. No chance for them to get the kill on him.
Yeah, the TPs from UB were on both sides of Painkiller. They focused all their DPS on lasering Painkiller as soon as he lost armor, while Sign Esports were more focused on taking those high ground positions. They got pressured away, lost line of sight on Twisted Minds, left Painkiller out to dry. Now you lose all the gas in the tank. Still 20 seconds though, but it has to be a big orbital ray from Leb. Twisted Minds could also zone away if needed on both sides of the point, but fighting for the high ground is going to be key here.
They got the perfect tool as well, this wall. Might could just get deleted though, to be fair, with that orbital ray increased damage. Oh, Simple ends up going down though to Rocket. There's the wall. UB is not using it right now as that Tectonic Shock under the payload is going to get dealt with. A nice little right click there from UB says, you know what, don't need the ult anyway. It's all good. Yeah, Captive Sunrise here for Captive Sun, even for Lucamino. Can he get the job done again inside this orbital ray? He's already found the kill onto UB, but so low. As Twisted Minds are going to hold. And that'll be a map on the board as well. We're going to a map 3.
Unfortunately for Sign, they were not able to build up towards that critical orbital ray, a big win condition for them, even when picking Simple. It's not just about, okay, you have more supports now. The respawn advantage is for Twisted Minds, and you just weren't able to finish Twisted Minds as soon as that Sim barrier came up, because then you would have had to cross from the high ground perch that Sign were on all the way to the other side, which was going to be impossible to do. So you couldn't touch most of Twisted Minds, which meant ultimately you were going to lose the poke war and the respawn advantage that Twisted Minds had. So Sign Esports couldn't deliver in the end, despite having so much time for point C. Twisted Minds just know how to bunker down and swap to a defense mode off of this Symmetra. It's not always about being on the attack, it's also knowing how to defend, and UB knows how to make that call.
All right, now Sign Esports in the driver's seat. Where are we going to next? Our third map. That's Captive Sun was sick from Lucamino. Almost managed to clutch it out here as well, using the orbital ray. Didn't quite get it there in the end. There you go, there's Astro cracking a smile. Confidence building, they want to face T1, of course. T1 do have to win against the Guapos, Rakatac's team.
Going to another Ram map would be ideal for Painkiller, or Orisa/Ram, so maybe a Flashpoint or a push could be expected here. Trying to remember the bans, because Sim hasn't been touched yet, right? So
Sim has been, Sim got banned on the first map, but you can't ban the Freya anymore, which is scary to me. Sign obviously get their ban as well. They get their first ban, so they get to ban first, sorry. So you're in a good spot.
I didn't mind the Sojourn there. Quartz, I think, popped off earlier and was more consistent throughout, but Chronic also had those big moments. Like Chronic was able to pop like, what, a 3K Sojourn ultimate to get the point A cap, to get the ball rolling when it looked like Sign were going to get full held at some point. So Chronic shows up when it matters, and he's able to flex to the other hit scan no matter if the fray is there or not.
A lot of Twisted Minds fans in the audience right now. A lot of those banners too, I really like them. I wonder if you come into this as Sign and maybe ban, if you ban the Soz, then you can just like cast. So yeah, there's not really a target ban here. I think you could deal towards Quartz. And then the backline now, you can't ban the Lucio either. So like, okay, maybe you could try and go for KSA potentially.
There's so many threats on the Twisted Minds side because you want to put damage into Yubi so he doesn't just farm your tank. You don't want Quartz to be left alone because then he's picking off Lep every single fight, first blood. And so it's kind of tough for how Chronic is going to decide who his victim is going to be. And ideally it's against his mirror matchup of Quartz. But then Painkiller starts losing a tank war if he gets lasered by Yubi, who will teleport. He'll know those windows that he can engage on and that he can get away with solo TPing behind Painkiller and just ramping up the charge. So Overwatch is not just a game about mechanics and who's shooting better and who's the best at what hero, but the key decisions that you have to make and on the fly and how you communicate those, which as also playing as Symmetra is such a high communication demanding role that Yubi has mastered over the years. And I think Sign have been able to handle all of that very well. I mean, they won Lijiang Tower against that Symmetra that was just TPing from left to right, so.
I wonder if they even take us to the new map. I mean, Atlas has played a little bit already. It's brand new, out of the game only just recently. Not got a ton of kind of data on the map at all. Suravasa now out of the pool. It's New Junk City or Atlas for the Flashpoints. Maybe trip a couple of teams up as well. I mean, it being this new, it's not like not that any map is kind of solved, but you get when you go in and load into a map, you get an idea of like, okay, we know we want to play this. Although Flashpoint does kind of err on the side of like Rush and like Brawl type comps.
Everyone's boot camping, so I'm going to assume everyone's prepared for Atlas, but maybe it's not your most experienced, most played map where you have like 5 years under your belt because it's not been out for that long. So maybe there's a weakness of Yubi's not going to know all the, well, never mind, no Symmetra TPs because that's been banned. Lucio's off the table as well, so you're going to have to go to some Juno type of comp if you still want the speed in.
Man, a Twisted Minds Lucio ban, okay. Juno for Astro. Go Kiriko here. Simple could go Bat. Not sure you want to play something like the Alaria or a Zen. Way too slow for these type of maps. You're a little risky as well, to be fair. This is another perfect chance for Sign to come up big, banning the Symmetra on this last map. Twisted Minds coming in like, hey, you know, warm up scrim. We want to face T1. We want to beat T1.
Ooh, let's just count our ducks before they hatch or whatever. Chickens. Yeah. That's the one that hatches.
Well, ducks hatch from eggs as well, I guess.
Yeah, I guess.
Either one works.
You got to count some before they hatch. But maybe you're trying to force a Tracer mirror as well. Now you got the Symmetra off the table where Rocket versus Yubi. I mean, usually I wouldn't say usually. Yubi still can play the Tracer. They like Psycho to be in for the Tracer Genji with usually TVNT on those control maps, right. But Psycho's got the coaching headset on right now, it seems. So, yeah, but Atlas is very chaotic, and that's where Sign won the first time on this in this series. So,
here we go then. Atlas. My first time covering this map, and it's going to be a good one. I think, especially the first point is so strange too. It's very enclosed, has a very defined high and low ground, and a lot of the time as well, the kind of snowball of Flashpoint cannot be understated. Big brawl type map, and Painkiller expected to play the Ramatra. And I've really, you pointed out as well, Lemon, like this Rocket venture has been looking really good for the team. Expecting the EMEA teams and maybe this tournament as well, a lot of teams to pick up the sim. And Rocket deciding, you know what? No, we're not a sim team, we're a venture team. A lot more disruption. And paired with Painkiller's Ravenous Vortex on that Ram, make a very, very difficult situation for the backline. Looks like Simple going to be a little bit tricky on the Kiriko. Very hard supports to lock down the Juno and Kiri, so Rocket has got his work cut out for him.
A lot of people are whipping out the Venture to counter these sim comps. You can't fight fire with fire. You bring a bucket of water, I guess. And out of the last 4 matches from Sign, they've not played Rocket on the Venture. And this is a guy who has been working on his hero pool for so many years. Now Sign have chosen this map. They've boot camped for a reason. Sign are the ones who approach them. They believe in this team and how they're able to play the underdog story.
Point being contested right now. Yubi, I'd imagine, on the floor currently. Simple takes down Lucamino, sniped across the map. Same with Yubi, though. They do end up trading as Chronic finds a 2-piece, actually. Okay, on a perfect angle here. Just uncontested, as both Rams are basically just swinging at each other that entire time. Rocket as well, trying to find another angle. That's first fight win and cap for Sign.
And to get that pick on a Tracer is not easy. I mean, I can't do it. That hitbox is small and it's catch her before she blinks away. Awesome job from Chronic. Now you get to defend with this, and what, 20% orbital ray advantage here for Leb. That'll be what the first ultimate you'll likely see unless KSA can continue to farm towards the Annihilation. You're gonna need some support, and Simple's not there.
I say it was a tough feat to take down a slippery Kiriko, but I guess not if you're Rocket. You have to reset here. Very early death, so you are awarded a very quick reset, especially it being Kiriko 2 with a swift step, so you're chilling for now.
Here's the speed Annihilation play for KSA, and Lucamino's low.
Now they're good though. I mean, you're seeing in the Vortex, that's fine. Annihilation available from KSA. The amount of damage he's done in the front line, outdoing Painkiller, at least for the time being, and there's the kill. UB, not only a good sim player, a good Tracer player as well. Can't forget that. Is in his wheelhouse. But this is a classic Flashpoint scenario, right? It's like, okay, you won the fight, but you used a bunch of ults, and we have a ton coming up. In fact, basically 5, right, for this next, and we got 94%. We ult dump, and then we just kind of win.
Wow, it's already 94. Wow, time goes by fast. KSA forced the swift step out of Lucamino, and then Yubi got the chase down. So they're taking the right steps to force the cooldowns and to get the picks. Now Sign Esports have Orbital Ray and Kitsune Rush. Depends on if Twisted Mind's going to get there in time to mirror it. Should be good.
Oh, there's the Orbital Ray. Going to split the team up for a little bit there. High noon from Quartz. Catches Leb before he can get himself into cover. They trade supports for support, though, as Sign Esports manages to find the flip. Danger zone for Twisted Minds right now. UV taken out by Chronic yet again. And like I said, just a big ult dump. And Chronic putting up big numbers. A brief SDC overtime there as Sign Esports get a point on the board in Atlas.
Yeah, I think I mean, we're nowhere near the crowd, but I'm sure they're quiet. This is sketchy for sure. I think Painkiller got a lot more mileage out of his Annihilation when he's able to play inside his own Orbital Ray, chasing down those supports. Never give up, never surrender. And now they'll be in the driver's seat with the first point cap and rotations.
Okay, both rushes ripped on the rotation. Ubi kind of losing left there, but Simple. The teamwork ends up finishing him off. Suzu, TP used. Yep, no chance for Lucamino. Twisted Minds after a hot start on the second point.
This is control adjacent type of game type, so this is where Sign Esports are really thriving in that chaos. Use a Kitsune Rush to get ahead of it. Wish you wiped out more of Twisted Minds, and still were able to buy a lot of time. KSA though, he'll have the Annihilation, no support ults, but I think Twisted Minds just have to pocket him and he'll be fine.
Chronic on a nice little angle too. Of course, we do see Quartz in the sky, that updraft. Now on the Freya. KSA is just holding this high ground, refuses to budge. Nice Annihilation too. Yeah, Rocket caught out. We're trying to kind of bully KSA away, push him off the height. Nice stagger as well, actually, on the Sim. Or in the Sojourn, sorry.
KSA didn't even drop the half health. Talk about a pocket from Twisted Minds to keep that Annihilation kicking. And Sign Esports just could not put that man to sleep. Now, one fight territory for Twisted Minds to match the score 1-1, and I think Sign Esports may just want to opt for rotations for the next point. I don't know if they'll be able to touch.
They're going to try at the very least. You kind of see him positioning as Simple ends up going down. Yeah, Rocket almost on the perfect hero to touch, especially with that burrow. Can't get booped when you're underground, of course. Rocket in trouble, though. Yeah, no CDs left. Chased down by Yubi and Quartz. And now Quartz on a nice off angle. Doesn't get that tag on the Sojourn. Maybe he regrets it now. Again, they can let it go, though, you know. They've got 99%. Sign Esports are going to try and get as many ults as they can out of them. In fact, Chronic ends up using the overclock. Overinvestment from the Sojourn, it feels like. Nice shot there on Simple.
He looks good.
Can't be mad at that. Yeah, can't be mad at that. Good shot.
As soon as they killed KSA, they're like, well, let's farm our ults. Let's get aggressive. Especially the support ult race is on with Luke Camino being ahead, but Lep versus Funny Astro will be what kicks off the fight. And then you have an annihilation advantage, and you saw just how deadly KSA was with it, but I need to see the same out of Painkiller.
Orbital Ray's using no choke point there. Astro trying to escape this annihilation. Orbital Ray not enough healing, unfortunately, to survive through that, as it's a fairly trivial affair for Sign Esports.
Stagger. Yeah, that'll force the last fight and potential map point if Sign Esports get ahead of this. And especially Kitsune Rush, that's going to be the big decider, but now it's the annihilation advantage for KSA. Getting through this choke, though, is so difficult and annoying. Quartz is trying to find an angle. He just gets run over.
Yeah, actually dominated there, unfortunately, for Quartz. KSA, annihilation on the point. The SDC overtime. I don't think this is going to last too much longer. Ain't no way. That is a 2-0 lead now for Sign. Despite Twisted Minds, they're getting 99% on that first cap on second. So as we transition to this third point, it is looking dire for Twisted Minds.
Yeah, Quartz just did not like getting ran at by the tank. It's going to go to someone who could easily slip away from that. I don't think Sign Esports had any business winning that, with Painkiller just running towards Quartz and killing him. So that's what ended up winning it when Twisted Minds had the annihilation advantage, and that was used at the end of the fight to no avail. So Rocket pops Quartz like a pit bull, and he's out again.
Yeah, good luck, have fun. No way you're surviving that one, my son. 5 seconds to the point unlocks as well. He's trying to do maximum damage possible there, chasing Funny Astro away. That's a triple for Rocket in the end, as a cap comes in. Could be a 3-0 here as Twisted Minds in front of their home crowd here. Not looking as hot as maybe they felt they looked coming into the series.
This could be the biggest upset. I mean, look how upset the crowd is at the very least. This is insane. Still have to capture one more point, and Chronic, he has leveled up and has become a true beast. And he has to be the one that continues to get those picks, or Rocket could even just go after Quartz as soon as he sees that jump get activated. Quartz has been target number 1 of Sign.
Man, they're chasing Yubi to the end of the earth there. Overclock popped, Funny Astro down, and Chronic's going to take it to him now. The Nemesis War was important, but the annihilation is going to hurt even more. Yubi, though, still manages to come up with a kill, but Rocket is going to be tough to deal with, and this is final fight here, Lemon. And Luke Camino's got that rush available to him, and they're going to maybe even chase Quartz. Not sure they're going to be able to get the kill. Nope, they decide to back off. Don't want to overextend.
Take an early fight with Luke Camino, absolutely. Orbital Rave, the lane, and the time is right. This is Sign Esports that can dictate this map and this next fight.
They're just going to go. Lep has also got this Orbital Ray as well. They've got so many tools they can use. Yubi's going to go for the cap. KSA pops the annihilation, but dealt with. A backcat comes in, but where is the staying power? There is 2 Subbolt ultimates coming up for Twisted Minds, but it should be a fairly easy flip.
Yeah, Sign Esports popped both those ults for 1 kill. I don't know if that was really worth it. The Twisted Minds are separated. They're rallying up and they're countering.
You gotta go, KSA back on the Malga. All right, Orbital Ray used to push them on the point, and luckily their UB held on for long enough to get another touch. OT here as Twisted Minds now trying to gun down Sign Esports. A 99% though is going to be good. Again, they can come back into this fight, and not on an ideal here pick for KSA, but one he is very familiar with. One of the best Malgas in EMEA.
Sign can't choke here. I don't like that they still went for the point. You saw Kitsune Rush and Orbital Ray, just leave. Don't have to take that fight. You're at 99%, they're at 0. Let them cap and fight on a better day. Now you sacrifice time, but maybe they want to fight for ult charge, because it's only going to take 1 fight for Sign to win the series.
Yubi can come up clutch here as well with this pulse bomb. Oh, nice vortex there. Oh, Astro's down though. A pick from Chronic, and now Yubi, it's your chance to come alive. Mauga's going to pop that cardiac overdrive there to keep everybody healthy in the front line, but this rush is going to be tough to deal with. They're also going to have to deal with this tectonic shock. Yubi's already been forced out as Rocket is hunting for bodies, and he's already found one. KSA falls as he dashes back to the point. The flip comes in for Sign, and they're going to take down Twisted Minds in front of their home crowd. A 2-1 as they win their upper bracket match. Twisted Minds, they wanted to face T1, and they were so certain of it as well. And Chronic and Rocket really hyped up now. I mean, look, if you're coming out and they're booing you, you've got to feel good when you take him down like that. Rocket with hugs all around. What a showing here in the first day of the mid-season.
And a showing like that on their first international showing against like the home team, a team they've not scrimmed, but Sign Esports, I don't think really respected the Saudi clubs. They went up against Falcons in their boot camp and said they're a beatable region, that's a beatable team, and that's what they said about Falcons, who are rated above Twisted Minds. They put Rocket on the venture, who constantly hunted Quartz down. They love yapping against this crowd, but also big respect to the work that they've done to warm up for the stage, to boot camp, to get these fresher players comfortable and ready to go.
That is the energy he's going to bring every single time he hits the stage now. Boos cheers, doesn't care. Look at that face. Happy.